Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. We are a religious community united by our UU principles listed on the back of your order of service. Here we are committed to service, spiritual growth, and caring fellowship. I'm Deborah Baker Ryan, your service leader this morning, and a member of this beloved community for 27 years. If you are visiting today, you will find more information about us in your order of service and on our website, uufec.com. If you haven't already, please fill out a visitor card at the table by the front door so that we can connect with you and send you information about upcoming events. The UUFEC does not require a common creed for membership, but we do share our commitment to our UU principles and values. We believe each of us is on a spiritual journey, and we share our quest for a more meaningful life with each other. We welcome you to share that journey with us. And now the prelude prepares us for the service. Our chalice lighting this morning is a few words that I wrote to open our service. And it's written with the spirit of the season. Gift. Heart opens. Love comes inside. We transform a moment or longer. Sharing the gift. Love continues. Alex, would you come up and light the chalice for us?
Good morning. I'm happy to see all of you again. For those of you that I'm seeing for the first time, or you're seeing me for the first time, I'm Kathy Hurt. I'm a hybrid minister. The congregation and I are trying something where I do not live in the area. I do some of my work at a distance and then on a regular schedule come and have the pleasure of spending several days with you in person. So I'm glad to have another one of these in-person times today. The opening words are by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. In the season of long, cold nights, hope isn't waiting somewhere for us to find it. Hope isn't off sitting on the sidelines. Hope seeks out the forgotten places, the crowded stable, the overlooked people, the people huddling in darkness, all those places where tomorrow seems impossible. When we're weary of fighting and darkness seems sure to overwhelm us, precisely then hope comes to claim us and gives us the chance to say yes. Our first hymn, one of the carols in the gray hymnal, O Come, Emmanuel, number 225, or the words will be overhead. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing. One of the most wonderful parts within the life of a congregation are those times when we welcome new members, persons who have come here, have met some of the people already here, have experienced some of what we do as a congregation, and we said, that's the spiritual community I've been looking for. At this time, I want to invite our membership chair, Karen Lauer, and wearing a different hat, our president, Deborah Baker Ryan, up as we welcome yet another group of new members this morning.
Now is the time during the service that we honor our newest members and their desire to join us. Each of the following people have expressed the desire to join our Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. As your name is called, please come to the front. Tristan Allen, Ivy Light, Shiala Naranjo, and Travis MacArthur.
It is a joy to welcome each of you as a new member into our fellowship. Becoming a member of this faith community is an important step, a first step. I encourage you to grow your religious life and to explore and share your unique gifts. Will you journey together with us, celebrating the joys and embracing the responsibilities of membership, including the sharing of your time, your talents, and your resources? If you agree, please say yes.
Yes.
Now, new members, look this way for just a moment. In the gift bag is a pocket guide to Unitarian Universalism. It's filled with stories and a bit of wisdom about our faith tradition. Ours is a shared ministry, meaning we help one another find meaning in life, and we work together to build a just and compassionate world, together fulfilling the vision and mission of this fellowship. And now face the congregation. Members of the congregation, will you reach out to these people in friendship, including them in our activities and fellowship? Will you walk with them on their spiritual journey? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering that each of you was once a new member? If so, please respond by saying, "We will."
We will.
And now let's give all our new members a round of applause. Thank you, and please be seated.
Now we have our Time for All Ages. Our young people and young at heart, please come forward. And looks like we have a substitution on our storyteller. Yes. The story is The Greatest Gift of All. And as I understand it, Joshua Moore wrote it?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. I did it this time. Hey. Yes, today's Time for All Ages was written by Joshua Moore, and I am filling in for him today. We're talking about the greatest gift of all. So I want you to sit here. I want you to think of all the gifts you've ever received. What was the best one?
My chosen family.
Yeah.
Probably being born.
You know, that's a pretty big one.
Having to have the same thing as what he was saying.
Chosen family. Chosen family. Lorelai, do you have anything to add? Okay. Julian, I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
The right to a stocking.
Yes.
I love stockings.
Yes, a right to a stocking. What's the best thing in a stocking, though? All the candy? Candy. I think it's pretty unanimous. Candy is the best thing in a stocking. Alex, would you like to walk around? What is the best gift you've ever received? Anybody that wants to share?
Not to be sappy, but my husband.
I kind of want to piggyback off of her, but my boyfriend, he's the best person I've ever met in my life, and I don't know what I'd do without him.
I have to say, my cat Sullivan. I guess you all get sick of hearing about Sullivan, but he's probably one of the best gifts that I have.
An always welcoming community.
Here, specifically.
My rats. That sounds very silly, but they're yes. We have one rat called Deadpool. I have 4 rats, and they've actually really helped me get through some rough times recently. So.
Having people in my life that accept me for who I am without having to put a mask on or pretend like I'm someone different.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand, child. Okay. All right. So now we've talked about the best gift we've ever received, but what about the best gift we've ever given? What about that?
Love.
Love, absolutely. The universal. Anybody else? The best gift you've ever received. Yes. No.
Given? The best gift you've ever given?
Yes.
Probably the right to allow like someone to trust you enough to tell like anything really.
That's a big thing. Trust within relationships, being able to be open and share.
Kind of like how Daniel said, trust and or love and trust, and also just having open arms no matter what.
Let's do 3 from the audience. Is there anybody that wanted to share?
Having that guy adopt me. I think that was the best gift, other than my mom having a pretty awesome kid.
It's the same answer I had for the other one, which is our children.
Mine's very deep. It's dark chocolate with a little caramel attached. I've given it.
Yeah, candy. Yeah, candy, and the ability just to help others laugh, whether it's a stranger, good friend, family. I think just getting somebody to laugh helps somebody open up. And yeah, if it's successful, if I can truly make a joke land, then yeah, we know we have trust.
A joke doesn't always land, but when it does, the best. So now we've talked about the best gifts we've received, the best gifts we've given. But one thing that all of these gifts have in common, maybe except for the chocolate, actually no, the chocolate too, because it takes somebody to go to the store and to think about what your favorite chocolate is. That counts. That counts. So the greatest gift, one thing these all things have in common is us. us, our presence, our attention, our time, our energy. So, our last question is, what is the best way to give of ourselves this Christmas, or excuse me, this holiday season? What is the best way to give of ourselves? Because let's think about it. Sorry? Which part? Giving of the self. Okay, so what was your favorite gift that you said a couple minutes ago? Chosen family. So when your favorite gift is chosen family, that means that that chosen family is giving you that time and that attention, that acceptance, that belonging. That's what it comes down to. So what is the best way you think that you could give of yourself this holiday season?
Self-love. Yes. Because it's really difficult to give yourself own love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here, Alex, you want to run around?
The joy of music is what I enjoy sharing with them. It's hard work, yeah, we put in the time and we love sharing it.
I like baking for people and feeding people. I hate baking, but I really like feeding Denny. He gets so excited about it.
I was thinking whatever you give selflessly.
Giving time, sharing your presence, your love, it all involves time and that intentionality.
Composing music.
Yes. All right. So, if the greatest thing we can give of ourselves, if the greatest thing we can give is of ourselves, then let us focus on that this holiday season. With all of the expectations of what could be and what we could have, but what we don't have and what's not happening, let's focus on ourselves, on each other, and the community that we're building. Thank you.
So now this part of our service is about sharing joys, milestones, and concerns. And you're invited to briefly share events in your life so we may support and celebrate together. Please do not share others' personal information without their permission. I'd like to take the first sharing. Shar Farley asked me to let you know that they're doing well. They're doing as best as they can, and she just wants you to keep her and Ed in your thoughts and prayers.
spirit of reflection, meditation, and prayer. Spirit of hope, God of our understanding, as we contemplate the story of a poor family, a child born homeless, a child recognized as possessing the holiness and the promise of love for which every human heart hungers, and of which every human heart is capable. The Roman Empire that child was born under is many centuries away, yet today we too know what it is to live in the midst of an empire fraught with domination of people, of land. We too know what it is to live amid the struggles of many simply to survive, let alone be respected. We too know what it is to live in a time of division and power struggle with the ever-present threat of persecution. Help us to ready ourselves for the role we might play in the struggles of our day. Consecrate us in courage and community as we seek to birth something new and yet something old, as we prepare for the rebirth of love in our own story. May it be so. Amen.
I forgot my notes. So now we will have our offering, and this week and the whole month of December, we are giving all cash and undesignated checks, the entire amount, to our Fund for Emerging Needs to help folks in those in need in our congregation. So please give generously, and we will now have our offering. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live.
One of my favorite holiday stories about Christmas gifts gone awry is O. Henry's classic, The Gift of the Magi. To recall it, the narrative describes how a young couple facing the holiday expectation of gifts, each wanting to present the other with something truly wonderful, sacrifices in order to make that truly wonderful gift possible. Yet when the time comes to open the gifts, each person is stunned to be receiving a gift that no longer makes sense as a result of the sacrifice. Della gives Jim a watch chain that he had long desired, but Jim sold his watch in order to buy Della's gift. Jim gives Della a set of hair combs that would be perfect for her beautiful long hair, but Della had her hair cut short and sold it to afford to buy the watch chain. O. Henry closes the story with the curious comment, "Of all who give and receive gifts, such as these are the wisest. Everywhere they are the wisest. They are the Magi." A curious comment because those gifts are ultimately useless due to the sacrifices each made in order to come up with the money for the gift. So how exactly are they the wisest, the Magi? Well, we're in the home stretch of the Christmas race now, with the time for opening gifts just a week and a half away. Pretty much since Halloween, we've been bombarded on all sides with expectations that we will shower others with gifts and can hope in turn that we ourselves will be showered with gifts. Some of those gifts will be ones we'd long desired and are delighted finally to receive. Some of those gifts will be disappointing because they demonstrate a stinginess in someone we had expected generosity from, or a blindness on the part of the giver to our true interests. We will give and give and receive, and the day after the holidays probably return or regift or put away on a shelf a fair number of those gifts. Heave a sigh of relief that the season is finally finished, feel a sense of letdown that the season is finished, and after all that frenzy of giving and receiving, what will have changed? When I was 10 years old, I came out on Christmas morning to find a curry comb and a note from Santa under the tree telling me I would find my present in the front yard. Tied to a pole was a brown and white spotted horse, saddled and waiting for me. I tend to be a pretty reserved person, but not that morning. I ran shrieking down the front steps, so frightening the poor horse that she nearly strangled herself trying to break and run away from this monster. That particular gift changed my life forever. Not because I received the horse I'd been longing to have ever since I was a small child and began to draw horses, make horses out of Play-Doh, read books about horses, construct elaborate fantasies about horses that I acted out by putting an old saddle we had in the garage on a picnic table bench. Not because I received the gift that was truly my heart's desire, though that was wonderful indeed. The gift of a horse was life-changing because it told me that what I had come to believe about myself and my parents was not entirely true. As the second of 6 children, the daughter of young parents who were struggling financially and emotionally, I believed that my parents rarely noticed me and did not particularly like me. I was a quiet, compliant child, which meant that in that large family I was frequently overlooked, while my noisier and not so compliant siblings commanded parental attention. I believed my parents had hoped I would be the stereotypical girl of that era, a girl who aspired to marry and live in the suburbs and spend my days drinking coffee with other housewives as we discussed how to keep the kitchen floor shining with the best wax products and sighed sweetly frustrated sighs about our rowdy children and clueless husbands. I was thwarting those expectations already by age 10, not playing with dolls, preferring my chemistry set to my Easy Bake Oven, devouring library books, saddling up that picnic table bench, sharing a baseball card collection with my older brother. And then the horse came, the one gift I longed for but never expected to receive because I knew horses were expensive, because I figured my parents had never noticed how much I loved horses. When I saw that horse in the front yard, after the shock wore off, a new reality began to sink in for me, a reality in which I had to take another look at my parents and see that they were aware of me. They were noticing what I loved. They did have some sense of the person I was becoming, even if that person was not quite who they had envisioned. After the spectacular gift of a horse, I could no longer be convinced of the story I was telling myself, in which I played the part of the forgotten, unloved child. Because each morning when I saw that horse out in the pasture, I saw a very different story. The Christmas narrative that surrounds us now includes multiple versions of gift giving and gift receiving. The stories of those gifts show up in advertisements that most often feature the recipient with a look of surprise and delight when whatever gift object that is being advertised is being presented. The Santa part of that narrative encourages recipients to let Santa know what they want to receive. The biblical narrative of this season that focuses on gifts, the account of the three wise men, the Magi, has a different perspective as it tells of their journey for a great distance to present thoroughly inappropriate gifts to a poor baby in a barn. That story is about the process of giving, with little concern for what is received or what gifts mean to the one getting them. A tricky business, this business of giving and receiving. Some of us do a far more skillful job on one side of that exchange than we do on the other. Often being the giver is the easier role, in part because it's the role with more power, control in the exchange. Being the receiver is a role of vulnerability, even dependency. So which do you do better, give or receive? And why are you better at that? Much of traditional Christmas art that illustrates the Magi episode from the biblical story depicts that climactic encounter in the barn around the manger with the wise men kneeling as they present gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. If you think about it for a moment, the whole scene is ridiculous. Exotic, wealthy men travel a great distance, following directions so ambiguous they have to stop and ask the king of the country for better directions. They end up in a smelly barn, falling to their knees around a feed trough where a newborn, probably crying as newborns do, a newborn just born to a couple of poor teenagers, lies swaddled in old rags. The Magi hold out royal, ring-encrusted hands, not with pacifiers or onesies or stuffed animals as gifts, but gifts only another person like themselves from a privileged class can truly appreciate. Nothing in that scene makes any sense. But then profound stories, stories with the quality of myth, are not intended to appeal to the rational figuring out parts of our minds. If anything, such stories set out to thwart or at least obstruct for a bit that usually dominant aspect of our minds so that something deeper, more creative can emerge. So the story of the three wise men, the central story along with Santa Claus in our culture that inspires the whole season of giving and receiving and shopping for gifts and presenting those gifts, may be telling us something about gifts besides the usual gift messages we tend to latch onto. Della and Jim gave each other gifts that ended up being useless, yet O. Henry called them exceptionally wise. The three magi brought the infant Jesus gifts that were entirely out of place in that setting for those particular people, and yet they also are called wise and singled out ever after as a key part of the Christmas narrative. Inappropriate gifts, useless gifts, stories that purport to offer us wisdom. What wisdom is emerging here? While our culture would have us focus on the gifts we give and receive because we live in a consumer culture and gifts are intended to feed and drive that consumerism, the most important part of a gift may not be the gift per se. I wanted a horse with every fiber of my being and was so delighted to receive a horse, I ran out of the house shrieking with joy. Decades later, what I remember of that particular Christmas is not the gift, not the horse, but the shock of discovering that my parents just might love me after all. What O. Henry may be after with his comment about Della and Jim's gift exchange being a demonstration of their wisdom is not the ironic twist of gifts that were ultimately useful, but all the thought and emotion leading up to a decision to sacrifice something beloved in order to bring delight to another person. The biblical story of the Magi actually spends more time talking about their journey to find Jesus, how they found a star and used it to guide their travels, how they became lost and had to consult King Herod for advice, then after seeing Jesus, how they had a dream which inspired them to leave quickly and take a different route home. All those twists and turns occupy a lot more verses in the Bible than the manger scene, which happens quickly and is over. The moment a gift passes from one set of hands to another is not the most important moment in a gift exchange. Whether the recipient likes the gift or not, thanks me profusely or not, secretly returns the gift afterwards or hides it in a cupboard at home afterwards, those are not the most important moments in a gift exchange. What matters most in all our giving and receiving is what leads up to the moment the gift is presented. Our intentions, our decisions, the sacrifices that drive the giver to make the choices they make to spend more, to spend as little as possible, to find something truly right for the person, to settle for whatever gift can be found easily and with as little effort as possible. Those are the elements in giving and receiving that tell us who we are and how we love. Where our relationships have been tainted by trouble, where we need healing, where we are willing to give everything for another, and why. My parents lived into their 80s, so we had many, many Christmases we celebrated after that singular Christmas of the horse. Over those decades, they presented me with gifts I enjoyed. But my father often cited my reaction to seeing my horse as a reaction he always hoped he might see again. Apparently, seeing his quiet, compliant daughter transformed into someone screaming for joy had changed him in some way, just as the gift had changed me, so that neither of us ever regarded the other quite the same afterwards. I imagine his wishing to have me again shriek with pleasure was his desire to know that his daughter, a daughter who often mystified him, frustrated him, never quite made sense to him, that his daughter ultimately did understand how much he loved her. In the absence of a shriek, perhaps my father could not feel sure that I knew myself loved. From time to time, when we might be reminiscing about Christmas, I would ask how he and my mom set about getting that horse and what inspired them to choose it as my gift that year. He always waved those questions away, telling me that some things have to remain a secret. Now I would say, along with O. Henry, that refusing to let me know how that horse made its way into the front yard that Christmas morning, that was a wise decision on my father's part. With that mystery intact, he could be sure that all my life I would keep circling back, marveling at what an act of love that gift represented. A gift I would never entirely understand because love is too big and complex for any of us to easily grasp. Because a key feature in experiencing love is that we never can quite get our hands around it, and it forever eludes our control. The biblical authors never tell us any more about those three wise men. We never learn what Jesus and his family did with those exotic gifts. All we're left with is a strange episode about a journey that made little sense and the artistic renderings of a desperately poor baby being worshipped by three elaborately costumed adults for no discernible reason. That child would ultimately become one of the greatest teachers of love that humanity has ever known. Perhaps in some way, as his parents recounted to him the episode of the wise men's visit, he began to learn early on that love can drive us to the ends of the earth. Love can inspire us to take risks. Love can transform us into different people than we ever were before. That of all the powers we know, love may be the greatest power of all. I've just about finished my Christmas shopping, and I hope most of you also are almost finished or are finished. I always try to come up with something as amazing as a horse for the people I love, wanting to give a transformative gift as my parents once gave me. Some years I manage that feat, most years not. Gifts that are true expressions of love, that come with a willing sacrifice and show evidence of having deeply seen and understood the receiver of the gift. Those are rather rare. More often, the gifts I give and receive seem expressions of kindness or, unfortunately, of obligation. But ever so often, a transformative gift comes along. And those are the times this stressful, hectic, consumer-driven holiday turns out, opens up, becomes the season of love we all long for it to be. I wish for all of us the presence of magi in our lives, persons whose gifts will change us as they teach us how to love more freely, more deeply. And may each of us discover, much to our surprise, that we too are the magi. We too carry in our hearts a love that has the power to change others, even change the whole world. May it be so. Amen. Our last hymn, of course it had to be this, We Three Kings. Number 259 in the gray hymnal, or the words are overhead. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing.
As we extinguish the chalice today, I realize that we need to remind you that after the service is over today, we will have our second hour class. We'll have 15 minutes of snacking and conversation around the table in the back, and then we will have our second hour group that meet. Today we have TED Talks, Josh Ashley in the library. We have choir practice with Cecile Lindegren in the Harmony Room next door. And we have the Speaker's Circle up here in the front of the sanctuary with our minister, and we'll talk about her sermon today. We also want to notice that there are other ways to get involved in your order of service, so please give that a look. And we have other things that are coming up next week that will be here at our fellowship on Friday night and Saturday night. So take a look at those announcements in your order of service. Now, I've forgotten my next one.
The words of the benediction are by Howard Thurman. The tides flow out from the inner sea at Christmas time. They find their way to many shores with gifts of remembrance, thoughts of love. Though the world be weary and the days afraid, the heart renews its life and the mind finds hope in the tides that flow from the inner sea at Christmas time. Shalom, salam, namaste, amen. Please remain seated for the postlude.
It is done.